Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center and to the world of magic and miracles and more. It's great to be here. As always, I greet you with a smile, with an energy of infinite possibilities. Since last week, with the two cosmic events, I'm feeling a great vastness, a space where all possibilities are available, where nothing is clinging. It's like I can stretch out my arms and stretch out my legs. It's a feeling of complete freedom and a feeling of my own sovereignty and power. That's part of the transmission today, allowing you to feel your own sovereignty and power. And to feel how you can see everything coming. You're connected to everything. And the greatest beauty is in a smile and laughter. Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this will help things turn out for the best. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten. And that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just purse your lips and whistle. That's the thing. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your sin. Give the audience a grin. Enjoy it. It's your last chance anyhow. So always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your last breath. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke. It's true. You'll see it's all a show. Keep 'em laughing as we go. Just remember that the last laugh is on you. So always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. I mean, what have you got to lose? You know, you came from nothing, you're going back to nothing. What have you lost? Nothing. Always look on the right side of life. Cheer up, you old bugger. Come on, give us a grin. Always look on the right side of life. There you are. See, it's the end of the film. Incidentally, this record's available in the foyer. Some of us got to live as well, you know. Always look on the right side of life. Who do you think pays for all this rubbish? Always look on the bright side of life. They're not going to make their money back. You know, I told them, I said, Bernie, I said, they'll never make their money back. But always look on the bright side of life. Smile and laugh and sing and dance. This is called the visitor, the householder, and the dissolution of separation. Which is harder? The visitor having to live among those that are from the land that they are visiting and not being affected by their way of living, or the person that is home, changing their adherence from the way of the householder to the way of the visitor. The visitor is an alien in the home of the masses, and the person of the home is one with the masses. When the visitor has access to another way, a different reality, whereas the person of their homeland has access to only the way of the masses, and to walk away from that way is almost impossible. The way of the masses has power, history, proof, and universal acceptance on their side. But more than these things, they have an ingrained way of being that has been cultivated over eons of time. And until the visitor comes with another way, there is no other way but theirs. And because of the power of what has been so ingrained, when the visitor comes, he or she cannot always be received. To receive the visitor in his or her other way, a form of death to the ingrained way of the masses must be felt. This death of the old way seems almost impossible, and even as the visitor provides evidence for the existence of the other way, most think it is just to be an adornment upon their own way, like putting on a piece of jewelry that says, "Look at me, I acknowledge the other way, and when it suits me, I will use it. I will flash my jewelry for all to see, but when I don't need it, I will remain in the way of the householder. For to give up all that I have accumulated as a householder, all the knowledge, proof, recognition, and belief, would indeed be foolish." You see, the way of the visitor cannot be received just by being in close proximity to the visitor. It must be chosen by each one independent of the visitor. The visitor comes for a season and then leaves. He or she points the way to another way of being, but that way is never forced. It is simply a door to walk through. But each one can only walk through it when they are ready to walk through it, when they can see for themselves that the other way is real and true, when they can see that the way of the householder is an illusion, with laws and rules that appear to be the basis for life. But the visitor shows you that this is just an illusion, that although this way is attended with matter, solid things like houses, furniture, food, and bodies, it is far beneath the consciousness and vibration of what is the source and very foundation of the matter. In other words, the matter comes from the consciousness, not the other way around. The visitor is simply pointing out that fact by constantly saying, "You create your reality. You create it by what you say, what you think, and what you believe." The householder cannot see this because they are inside the house. Only the visitor can see and then tell you that this is what you are doing. Without the awareness of the visitor, the householder can only follow the rules of the house. Scientific knowledge, proven solutions, studies and test results, expert knowledge from the advanced academia of the household. Until the visitor comes into your field, you don't know that there is another way. You must trust the house, for the fear of death looms as the ultimate penalty for any ignorance of not trusting the house. I understand this predicament, and I have great empathy and compassion for the householder, for they think that the way of the visitor is the ignorant way, for it is without proof, without studies and tests to verify its effectiveness. So the two continue along, the way of the householder and the way of the visitor. The choice is and will always be yours. And no matter which you choose, you can never do anything wrong. The visitor will continue to return and deliver the other way, for the visitor is patient beyond our understanding, long suffering beyond what would be tolerable, and loving beyond what would appear on the surface to be deserved. So, once again, there is great compassion and empathy for those who are not ready to choose the way of the visitor. Yet I tell you that it exists, and it is freedom like you've never known before. Within it lies the ending of fear. For once there, O death, where is your sting? O death, where is your sting? The two camps are those who have grown up with a trust of the house and those that have grown up with a distrust of the house. Both camps have had to deal with fear. Those that have grown up with a trust of the house have a harder time accepting the visitor, and those who have had a distrust have a slightly easier time. Each person has both the visitor and the householder within them, for no one is originally from here. So, in effect, the things that the visitor are telling us, we already know. But until we accept the other way that the visitor is reminding us of, we are living as a householder first and as a visitor second. Once we remember, that will switch and we will be the visitor to those around us who are still living as a householder. Until that wonderful moment when you remember and you lay down your affinity to the life of a householder, you will continue to reject the wisdom, love, and freedom that the visitor is delivering. Once you remember, you will enter the land of the new world, the land of Earthlandia, where everyone is living by the truth of the other way, and no one is no longer a visitor, but a sovereign resident of the new world, at home at last with all those who have chosen to live in the light of a different reality. An Earthlandian, a person of the heart that is at home with those that, like them, are no longer a visitor, but a householder in the new world. The visitor has come to all of us many times along our journey through our life as a human being, through our Creator, and through many channels that they have opened to send us messages through words, through sound, through any means necessary, up to and including sending the visitor in a human form. And we have all resisted for many different reasons. We can't see where we're still resisting because we can't see ourselves. It's like trying to see the back of your head without a mirror. So because the visitor is clearly a stranger, maybe it's not even resistance. We've been taught to not listen to strangers, stranger danger. So because the visitor is clearly a stranger who doesn't know the rules and laws of the land, doesn't know how things work here and how you have to go about living in this land, they are most times politely dismissed or impolitely ignored. Some think that over time they may be able to sway the visitor to the ways of the homeland, hoping that the visitor will see how things work here and abandon the reality and truth that they know. Certainly, the longer that the visitor is here, the more they can be influenced by the homeland and the householders and their systems of belief. The visitor always gets the signal when they have strayed too deeply into the homeland and its ways of doing things, and is immediately set on a path of its original nature and his or hers original purpose. So I marvel at both sides and the power that each has to be themselves. It's when they have to coexist that a conflict may arise, for it is the meeting of the two worlds, the two realities, the two ways of living and being that cannot fully come together until they step into the same world together. This is true of any two people or groups of people who interact with each other. There is a chasm that sits between that can't be traversed until the parties are ready. The visitor waits with great patience and love, knowing that at some point, without convincing, because convincing never works, that the householder will see this other way. And the householder, also with patience and love, sits and waits in the hopes that the visitor will see their way of living and being. We are so powerful, it is a marvel that anyone ever crosses the divide. We are each so magnificent as a unique, divine, infinite being with a power that has let us create our own reality. Every circumstance and every interaction we've brought into our life. We've brought the visitor into our life if he or she shows up, and we've kept them out of our life if he or she does not. Your interaction with a visitor and the outcome of that interaction is a part of a creation to serve your own growth and, more importantly, to assist in the advancement of humanity. We cannot always see how these things work, but they are certainly a part of a plan that must be played out to bring something forward for the advancement of all. The levels of these things are so vast. It's like a conspiracy that runs so deep, yet no one knows what the other people in the conspiracy are doing. In fact, no one even knows who is a part of the conspiracy. You must have top secret security clearance to even have been told that there is a conspiracy planned for humanity's advancement. But there is awareness, and each one can receive messages at any time that expand their awareness of the plan, if only for just a moment. As I have said before, we are all connected, and every moment is intimately tied to every other moment that has ever occurred in the recorded history of this planet's existence. We know that there is really no time and space, so the connections span eternity and beyond. They, like us, the connections, have never been born and can never die. So now we can see the simplicity of it all. Some have taken the role of the visitor and some have taken on the role of the householder, yet all are a part of the source itself, being divine, eternal, and infinite spirits, playing a part that they have created that is connected to the advancement of all humanity and Gaia herself. Our choice of roles is not personal, so do not take personally what the householder may do and say to or about you. And don't take personally what the visitor may do and say about you either. Come and stand where I am standing, above both the visitor and the householder, an observer of the plan, an observer of what each has created, including what we ourselves have created, and a being who is in complete non-reaction to all that has been created by all the magnificent beings who are a part of the source. From here, there's only a witnessing without judgment, and even though the circumstances of these creations may seem to include you, you are sovereign and free, and you can begin to simply sit back and watch. But this is impossible when you react, because when you react, your energy field attaches to the field that you are reacting to, and your power now belongs to the other to use. But when you simply observe from that place of sovereignty, that place of knowing that there is a bigger picture than what is being shown, you will have stepped fully into the power that has always been yours. This is a part of the dissolution that came with the Saturn-Neptune conjunct on February 20th, 2026. It seemed as if the physical structures that house the system might begin to dissolve, but what is coming from what I am being given to deliver is the dissolution of the reality of separation itself, the energy that powers the illusion, the frequency that has built the structures and the framework of the system. The visitor and the householder are one. The enlightened and the unenlightened are one. The awake and the asleep are one. The righteous and the unrighteous are one. All are one, and none have ever been separated. All have a part of a giant conspiracy, and it's only your reaction when it is void of love that keeps you engaged in your part of the conspiracy, which allows you to still feel suffering. Our reaction in fear, anger, and self-righteousness fuels the continuation of separation and your part in it. It infuses your energy into its creation and grows. Remove your reaction without awareness and love from the equation, and the creations run out of gas and dies on the side of the road, gasping for your reactionary energy to start moving again. I did not grow up playing video games, but I would say that today we have leveled up. Every video game that was created was like a conspiracy, one level leading to a higher level, leading to the ultimate level of beating the game. It tests your skills, and when your skills reached a certain level, you could move up a level towards reaching the highest level and then winning the game. When I would hear the kids talking about beating the game, it was as if the game was a person, as if it had consciousness. And with each advancement in level, they spoke about an advancement in the awareness of the creation and its creator. This allowed the players to discover backdoor exits and cheats that the creator placed inside the game for those who begin to see and feel the creator's plan and purpose for completing the game. Ultimately, the players would not talk about getting more skill, but getting more awareness. Skill only took them so far. It was awareness that would break the system and crack the code. So once again, today we have leveled up. We have raised our level of awareness and seen into the mind of the creator, moving one step closer to beating the game that we helped create and chose to play. We level up when we dissolve the power of the level that we were in, but that is now below us. Separation was the level that we just dissolved. For we have discovered in the bigger picture of the game that we are all just one player with uniquely different skill sets to reach our destiny of completing the game. I tell you that this place that I want you to join me in is beyond all separation, beyond all concepts, laws, and rules, beyond all labels, even beyond magic and miracles, yet at the same time being the home of magic and miracles. Therefore, this place is above all things while still including all things. That puts you directly at the right hand of your creator. It's like being a grandparent. You've seen it all and done it all. You've stressed over every detail of your child's growth and development, and you came out on the other side saying, it all worked itself out. I was stressing way too much about every detail and circumstance. Now you sit back and watch your child do the same thing as they raise their children, and you just laugh. Now your wisdom is of that of the visitor, and your child who is raising your grandchildren is that of the householder. They tell you that their child got hurt by what another kid said to them, and you say, they'll get over it. You did. They'll tell you that their child's stomach is having a problem, and you say, don't worry, they'll just fart it out. That's what you did. They'll tell you that their child doesn't like school, and you'll say, don't worry, they'll fart that out too. That's what you did. The masses and the householders are always under fear, but the visitor says, all is well. You are divine, eternal, infinite, and powerful, and you are not separate from your creator. Create whatever you would like to create, but know that you will never, ever, ever not exist. And if a thought comes to frighten you and tell you otherwise, just fart it out. To those of you who have thought that you have done something wrong in your life and it is holding you hostage to guilt and being undeserving, just fart it out. If you have taken a vaccine and there's talk of it having been the cause of illnesses in people's lives and you are feeling fear, just fart it out. This is the wisdom of the visitor. Simply know that you are so powerful that you can fart it out. You are more than the knowledge of the masses. You are greater than what has been ingrained into your way of living, and you and I are one. Love, magic, and laughter, but mostly laughter. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for your support. Until we meet again, cheers to you all. Always look on the bright side of life. I am a visitor in the old world, but a householder in the new. I am David.